So we're going to take this idea of what makes a good parent and we're going to create an argument. So tell me, read these for me, tell me what your claims are.
Parenting by example, holding responsible, and not comparing to siblings.
Okay, so you found 3 things that you would say make a good parent.
Yes.
Are there any others from the stuff that you read that you might want to add?
Well, this one kind of goes with consequences.
Okay. Just do the best you can. There you go. Okay. And you think that's a better way to say holding responsible is having consequences?
I think so.
Now, is it having consequences just for bad behavior or for good behaviors as well? Do you think makes a good parent?
Probably both.
Okay. So you want to put a plus and a minus next to that, just to remind yourself. Okay. So we've got these 3, and you read those examples. So now you have to come up with some data to prove this. So can you think of either from the scenarios that we listed or from your own life, an experience or event or even in the news or something where a parent is a good parent because they parented by example?
Well, in the paper that we had earlier, it was I forgot the name, like Jenna or something. So her parents smoke, and she wanted to smoke, but she was only 16 and they wouldn't let her. But that's like not parenting by example,
Okay.
and it badly.
Okay. So maybe put the smoking example down for your data. And then can you think of any example, because that's a negative, so can you think of a positive? Like either in your own life or in something you've read where a parent is parenting by example, teaching a good thing?
Well, my parents always tell me to use good manners, and they do as well. So it's parenting by example.
Okay. Can you give me a specific thing they do that's good manners that you try to do?
Holding the door for people.
Okay. So write that down. My parents holding the door. And some more data. Okay, so let's move to holding responsible or consequences. What from those scenarios that you read might you use as data, or what from your own life or other things that you've read? Because you can pull in any of the books that you've read too.
In the sheet thing, somebody was shoplifting, and their parents kind of said, no big deal, kids are going to be kids. So, and that was bad, so they needed to put consequences on it.
Okay, so write the shoplifting example. Okay, and then how about in your own experience or in something else that you've read? You've been held responsible and there were consequences for your actions.
So it can be in a book I've read?
Yeah.
Okay. So in, I like the Warrior series, and in one of the books, 3 kids snuck away from the camp to go chase foxes, and they were not allowed to become apprentices for another 2 months or something. So they got consequenced for that.
Okay, that's a good example. So put your warrior books.
I have to write this business.
No, that's good. That's good. Just something to remind you when you sit down to write the argument out. And then don't compare one child to their siblings. So can you think of some examples from those scenarios or your own life or something you've read where it was either damaging or good? Damaging to compare or good to not compare?
In the paper thing, forgot her name again, but the girl, she was getting like B's and her brother was getting A's and the parents was like, you need to be more like your brother. And that was not good.
Okay. Why was that not good?
Because it like probably made her like jealous of her brother and that would cause fighting between the siblings.
Good.
And
So damaging relationships? That's kind of getting to a warrant, really. Okay. How about in your own life or anything else that you've read? Was there an example where you, like, do you have siblings? Do you get compared to your siblings, good or bad? Are you thinking of a specific example?
yeah.
Well, share it. It's totally okay to share a negative experience if that's what you're worried about.
I can't think of.
Okay. Any of your warrior books? Do any of the cats like have sibling rivalries because they're parents?
Well, kind of.
So maybe that could be something we could come back to.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got some data now to support your claims. So now we have to think about the things that create warrants. So these are kind of where we talked about the underlying rules of the system or the way that your data connects to your claim. Okay? So you kind of actually hinted at a warrant for this one about comparing to siblings because you're saying your claim is parents should not compare siblings, right? And your data is the ranking scenarios example. But what you're really saying is that the reason that data fits is because it could damage the relationship between the siblings, right? So we can say comparing kids sets up competition or it damages relationships. So that would be the warrant for that one. Make sense? Okay. So then we're going to take these, now we're going to connect all of these to your claims, and then we're going to start writing an argument. Okay. Does that work? What were you going to say? I kind of put you on the spot.